The plain silvery metal box rested among the clutter on the crowded table just inside the Portobello Road antique shop. About the size of a shoebox but more square-shaped, it caught Liam Reed's attention. Liam, 29, wealthy, confident, and skilled at his job, was fairly tall and solidly built, though recently developing a noticeable belly. Most would still find him reasonably good-looking. A currency trader based in the city, he lived in a renovated Victorian terrace nearby in Notting Hill. He often wandered Portobello Road, browsing antiques and market stalls, though he grumbled that bargains were rare now, too many tourists. The box intrigued him, there was no obvious way to open it. "Afternoon, mate. What's this?" Liam asked the shopkeeper, who had approached. "Ah, interesting piece, sir. Just arrived this morning. Probably a humidor, though not very old. Beautifully made and as light as a feather. Here, feel how light it is. Lovely, isn't it?" Liam lifted it. It was surprisingly lightweight for its size and metal look. "Whoa," he said, impressed by its sturdy yet light feel. "How does it open?" "That's the mystery. We haven't cracked it yet. Must be a hidden catch somewhere, maybe a spot to press or squeeze. It's undamaged, so just a matter of figuring it out. In great condition, no scratches." "So, how do you know it's a humidor?" he asked. "A bit of a guess, honestly. But you get an eye for these things." "What's it made of?" "Seems too light for silver," Liam said. "Definitely not silver. Some new alloy, which is why it's not old. Too shiny to be titanium and incredibly hard. Should last a lifetime. Rare craftsmanship, I've seen a lot, believe me." "What's the price?" Liam asked, already deciding to buy. A humidor like this would impress his colleagues and business guests. One of a kind, mint condition. "I can't take less than £200. "200? Liam raised an eyebrow, though he was willing to pay more. "You don't even know how it opens." "Exactly, sir. That's why it's cheap now. Come back tomorrow after we crack it, and it'll be at least $250. Liam frowned. "I'll give you $150. The man smiled. "Sorry, sir. Like I said, we'll get more once we figure it out. We're experienced with these things." "Then why sell it for $200 now? Why not wait until it's opened?" Liam pressed, sensing something off. "Why take less than the expected future price? It's not our usual stock, too modern. Makes the place look odd. Honestly, I only bought it from the guy who brought it in because the writing, or decoration, caught my eye. No one here recognizes it. Since you like it, I'm willing to let it go cheap today." Liam shrugged. "Fine, 200. But if I can't open it, I'm bringing it back. Of course, full refund if it stays unopened and undamaged. Then we can resell it for $250 once we find the mechanism," the shopkeeper said with a smile. "Pleasure doing business, sir. Your cigars will stay fresh with this." He began wrapping the box carefully in tissue paper. But the antiques dealer was mistaken. The box wasn't a humidor at all. It was actually an alien artifact, a demonstration model morphic adaptation unit, MAU, from the Forthian Glamify company. Part of lost cargo, dozens of these units had drifted through space for centuries after being accidentally jettisoned by a damaged intergalactic freighter, and this one had finally survived re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Liam set the box down on the hall table, then headed to the kitchen for a beer. He sipped it while sitting on the sofa, laptop open beside him as he checked emails and did some work. He considered calling Laura to see if she wanted to grab a curry. She wasn't exactly his girlfriend, but they hung out sometimes and occasionally stayed over at each other's places. Both were far too focused on their careers for anything more serious. Just as he was about to call her, he remembered the humidor. Placing the laptop on the coffee table, he picked up the box and unwrapped it, marveling again at its light yet sturdy feel. He searched for a latch, button, or pressure point to open it but found nothing. In fact, it wasn't even clear if the box had a lid. Examining the strange writing on its sides, Liam thought, probably some kind of Chinese, maybe Korean or Vietnamese. Cambodian or Arabic? He shrugged. No, too angular. He brushed his fingers over the symbols absent-mindedly. Suddenly, the letters glowed a dull green, and the box emitted a soft hum, barely audible unless held. That's bloody strange, Liam muttered. Setting it on the coffee table, the box began to expand, growing until it almost touched his laptop. Then it stopped. That was unexpected, Liam said warily. Nudging it away slightly, the box expanded again, this time just enough to reach a book at the table's other edge. Curious, he moved the box to the room's center where there was plenty of space. Sure enough, it expanded further, outwards and then upwards. Colored lights and devices appeared on one side, and it now resembled a shiny metal telephone booth, solid and imposing. It's like a TARDIS! Liam exclaimed, referencing the iconic British sci-fi series Doctor Who, whose spaceship looked like a 1960s police box but was famously bigger on the inside. He stared at the massive object in his living room. This is seriously cool. He pulled out his phone and called Laura. Hey Fi, it's Liam. If you're free tonight, fancy a curry? At my place, I've got something incredible to show you. Picked it up today on Portobello Road. See you around 7? Liam circled the huge box, amazed it could grow so large from such a tiny object. He'd seen stranger things, he supposed. Turning to the side with the lights, he inspected a black panel roughly at waist height. Below it glowed a red shape resembling a three-fingered paw, surrounded by colored lights. Placing his hand on the red panel, Liam jerked it back, feeling a sudden tingle. As he debated touching anything else, the red shape morphed into a normal five-fingered hand. The black panel shifted upward to eye level, the box seemed slightly taller. The hand shape remained just below. What the? Liam stared at the hand shape. Well, nothing ventured. He placed his hand back on the red panel. The tingle returned, and he quickly withdrew it. Then, writing similar to the symbols outside began scrolling across the black panel. Taking a chance, he touched the hand panel once more. This time, no tingle. The black panel, clearly a screen, displayed an image of a human body. Liam squinted at the figure, then burst out laughing. That antique stealer is a total idiot. Humidor, my ass. It's some kind of computer game, like a supercharged version of Body Shop, like in The Sims. Clever as hell. And it looks just like me. How do they do that? The image was an exact replica of Liam. He could rotate and zoom it, though he wasn't sure how, probably controlled by the hand panel. I should be thinner, he muttered. The figure's stomach immediately flattened. Oh, very cool, Liam grinned. What else can it do? Bigger muscles? The image instantly transformed to a more athletic build. Now that looks like me, he said smugly. I wonder, can it change into a woman? The figure instantly shifted into a female version of himself, broad-shouldered and angular. Wow, what a mess! Glad I wasn't born a girl, I'd have had to drown myself, he laughed. That's the ugliest woman I've ever seen. But it wasn't really that bad. Liam just had unrealistically high standards for the women he actually desired. The image wasn't much less attractive than Laura or some of the women he worked with. When you compare everyday women to models, actresses, and porn stars, most seem plain by contrast. He tried tweaking the figure, thinking he was using his hand on the panel to make her slimmer, or her chests bigger, or her lips poutier. In reality, the device was responding directly to his thoughts, shaping exactly what he imagined, but Liam hadn't realized that yet. He wasn't interested in how he'd look as a woman, he wanted the program to create a truly sexy woman. The problem was, Liam was terrible at art. He appreciated a good painting and had even bought some to impress guests and as investments, but when it came to creating his own, he couldn't visualize or produce what he wanted. The image on the screen became more and more distorted with every change, an overly exaggerated, freakish version that looked downright ugly. I need to start over, he thought, and the figure reset to the broad-shouldered female form. Ready to give up, an idea struck him. He could find photos of women he liked and try to replicate them on the screen. In fact, he knew exactly whose image he wanted. Leaving the strange machine, he returned to the sofa and opened his laptop. As his fingers touched the trackpad, he felt a slight tingle in his hand. That's new, he thought, but quickly dismissed it as static from the carpet. He was eager to try his idea. Like many men, Liam occasionally browsed adult sites online. These were the women he really wished he could date and sleep with. Not that he disliked Laura, but she just didn't excite him. Deep down, he knew he didn't excite her either. So, surfing porn was his way of seeing what he was missing. What harm could it do? There was one woman he always found irresistible. He quickly found a site with several photos of her. Though she appeared under various names, she was mostly known as Alina from Russia. Alina had modest chests and a lovely figure, not the most beautiful woman he'd seen, but something about her stood out. She had an innocent, almost angelic aura. Which was ironic, considering she was a very accomplished porn model who wasn't shy about showing everything to the camera. There wasn't an inch of her Liam hadn't seen on his screen. He clicked on one thumbnail. That's more like it, Liam muttered. The image showed Alina sitting nude on a rock in a wooded clearing or park. Her pose was modest but playful and flirtatious, never vulgar. There she was, young, beautiful, and enticing. He liked how she always seemed to look at him with that special glance, like they shared a secret. What he wouldn't give to have the chance to be with her. She definitely looked interested. That's weird, he said aloud. Strange symbols similar to those on the computer game box began scrolling across his laptop screen. Suddenly, images of Alina flashed rapidly, some he recognized instantly, others were unfamiliar. The computer seemed to be scanning the internet at lightning speed for photos of her. Interspersed were pages of Russian text, certificates, letters, maybe a birth certificate, hospital record, or school report. Liam couldn't tell, it was all in Russian. Slow down, he exclaimed. The flood of images stopped, and a single photo filled the screen, Alina, clothed this time, walking carefree in a park, flashing a smile on her chests. Wow, Liam thought, what a perfect pair. Not as big as I usually like, but they suit her perfectly. More strange writing scrolled across the screen, but Liam no longer cared. He was too absorbed. She's so comfortable with her body, he said aloud. Just standing there in the park, happy, no shame, no acting up. She doesn't care what anyone thinks. What confidence! So relaxed with herself, he reflected. The writing continued scrolling. I wonder how she'd look a few years younger, Liam mused. The image subtly shifted. Did she just get younger? Liam wondered aloud. After a moment, he chuckled. Yeah, right. He shook his head. That TARDIS must have me spooked. I'm starting to think this computer can read my mind. Despite his teasing, his eyes drifted back to Alina's chests. I wonder if there's a closer shot somewhere, he mused. His finger must have brushed the trackpad because a new image popped up, exactly what he'd hoped for. I bet they're really sensitive, Liam thought, mesmerized by the delicate curves. Strange symbols scrolled across the screen. She'd probably haven't peeked just from a little touch. More of the mysterious writing appeared, but Liam barely noticed now. He was hunting for more pictures of Alina. Clicking the image revealed a gallery. There was Alina swimming in the sea. Alina lounging in a windowsill. Alina sitting upright in the same spot. She does look a bit younger than I remember, Liam noted, puzzled. After all, how could she appear younger in photos he'd seen many times? There's something special about her, he reflected. She makes you want to both care for her and possess her. She owns her femininity, no, she revels in it. More writing streamed down the screen. As if to prove his point, another picture appeared when he clicked again. She's so poised and confident. Liam continued. Probably did ballet or gymnastics. Or both. So young, probably still in school, and boy crazy. Maybe girls too. Made for intimacy, and she knows it. Liam no longer registered the scrolling symbols. Clicking once more, he saw Alina in the windowsill, holding a banana and sucking her thumb, the message clear. Oh, she loves it all, Liam leered. Every way she can get it. Mouth, female organs, probably everywhere. The next photo showed her playfully balancing bananas on her head, unbothered and carefree. Liam smiled but felt a twinge of guilt over his crude thoughts. Maybe that was a bit much, but not by much. She really seems sweet, with that innocence that makes you want to protect her. Strange writing kept scrolling. Liam thought, feeling protective now, maybe she should put some clothes on. He clicked absently, and a new picture loaded. She wore a sheer pink negligee, frills and ribbons everywhere. Young and sweet. 4. Liam thought. She's such a girl. Probably can't imagine being a guy. Loves all the girly stuff, like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. Sweet and submissive, but what a flirt. She loves being desired and knows she holds the power. But she plays the good little girl who loves to please. More cryptic writing scrolled by. That's not exactly what I meant by clothes, Liam laughed, though he wasn't disappointed. He clicked a new thumbnail. This time, Alina appeared dressed in casual, grungy jeans and a sleeveless top, striking a provocative pose, tugging at her top to almost reveal her perfect chests. Now that's what I'm talking about. Liam exclaimed. What a flirt! There's definitely some magic there. Maybe she's not always such a good girl, he chuckled. More strange writing. Her eyes met the camera with a smoldering look, at least as smoldering as such a sweet face could manage. Liam's thoughts drifted. She'd speak Russian, of course, but probably learned some English at school with a heavy accent. Maybe French or German too. Smart enough, but never focused, too distracted by boys, or maybe they were too distracted by her. Too busy having fun. She probably was still in school at the age she looked here. Funny he'd never thought about that. Was her name really Alina? It suited her perfectly. Liam decided yes, Alina Smirnova. He smiled, recalling a Russian colleague with that name. Suits her, 'cause she loves to suck, he smirked. Common name in Russia, but Liam found it amusing. Symbols scrolled again. Liam sensed a new image loading. Alina reclined in bed, looking at the camera with a playful finger pointing suggestively at her female organ. Liam's face lit up with desire. What a tease, he muttered. What a stunner. She wants it so badly. Liam seemed to want it just as badly. He rubbed himself through his trousers, imagining making love to Alina. She looks so young, he murmured, staring at her face and picturing that come-here look. Another photo appeared, showing young Alina gazing at the camera. Liam had just lifted his finger from the trackpad and was about to undo his flies when a thought hit him. I bet she's in love with the photographer, he mused. That's why she always looks at you like that. She's really looking at her lover, isn't she? And he's the one taking those porn shots. Liam laughed, moving his hand back to the trackpad. Well, I guess she'll do anything to please him. Strange writing scrolled across the screen. I think I remember one with another girl, Liam thought. Instantly, a picture appeared of Alina with a blonde girl, maybe at the beach. Alina wore a bikini, the other girl, a short pink dress. Yeah, that's the one, or at least I think so. She really does look younger. Liam was genuinely puzzled, but it didn't last long. Looks like she's into girls too, he smirked. More writing scrolled. Liam wanted to see another photo of Alina. One appeared. She sat on the windowsill, confidently looking at the camera. Her legs were crossed at the ankles but gracefully parted to reveal a clear view of her hairless female organ. "Oh, very nice," he said, admiring her. "I wonder how she'd look as a blonde, and a little tanned," he suddenly thought. The picture changed. The same image appeared, but now with blonde hair and a slightly different complexion. "Incredible!" Liam exclaimed. "How'd I do that? She looks absolutely stunning." Readers might be thinking Liam was missing something strange going on here. But Liam was clever at his job and reasonably sharp otherwise. He loved gadgets and technology but never cared much about how they worked. He especially loved when computers did something amazing and expected it. Besides, his mind was elsewhere. Meanwhile, unnoticed, something curious was happening with Liam's TARDIS. The morphic adaptation unit usually worked by establishing a hypertelepathic connection when a user first touched its sensor. As long as the hand stayed on the sensor, the unit received sublinguistic telepathic commands as brainwaves and processed them. Instructions from elsewhere wouldn't register, that was the failsafe. There was also a remote access accessory, but none were on Earth or would ever be. Remarkably, something else happened. Liam had a wireless broadband network at home, which he used on his laptop as he moved around, working, gaming, emailing, as now. Like many, Liam hadn't secured his network. Probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. Anyone close enough could join and use the internet for free. Some neighbors did. Liam didn't mind, he paid a flat fee for unlimited use. The morphic adaptation unit somehow detected the wireless network and automatically linked to Liam's computer. Even more, it configured the laptop's trackpad to act as a remote interface, sending signals back to itself and providing feedback. The odds of this working were astronomical, millions to one. It could take weeks to discover the right algorithm to communicate and interpret the data properly. Liam's laptop tech was primitive by Forthian standards but was enough to make it work, mostly. The problem, the messages were raw telepathic data, lacking subtlety. What Liam admired and what he requested were indistinguishable to the MAU. The changes it registered went far beyond physical appearance. That's the MAU's genius. Those who understood it could alter almost anything: looks, strength, intelligence, personality, memories, skills, even species, anything. You could create new species, combine existing ones, or both. That's why they'd been banned across the Forthian Empire for 200 years. It rendered genetic engineering obsolete. For those who didn't know how it worked, well, it could still change anything, as long as it thought it knew what to change. Most features defaulted to automatic. Experienced users found this irritating and changed the defaults immediately. But how was Liam supposed to know any of this? As soon as Liam started searching for pictures of Alina online, the image on the unit's screen shifted from the broad-shouldered female version of himself, so unappealing to him, to an exact likeness of the petite Alina. The unit had downloaded every scrap of data it could find about the real Alina, even information she probably didn't know was online, storing a perfect copy in its memory, right down to her DNA and fingerprints, which matched Russian databases. But as Liam scrolled through the images on his laptop, commenting and reacting, the profile on the unit changed too. Now, beyond the obvious, blonde hair and a sun-kissed complexion, the version on the MAU was younger, prettier, more seductive, sweeter, slightly smarter but more naive, funnier, more confident yet more compliant, and noticeably more feminine than the actual Alina. The real Alina was just an ordinary attractive girl from Russia trying to make a living with her most marketable assets. While Liam mused aloud, the machine interpreted his thoughts as commands. Even the notional DNA underwent subtle alterations based on his imaginings. Unknown to Liam, his inner artist was finally emerging. "What a little witch she is!" Liam smiled. "She has no idea how much power she holds over people." By now, he was completely oblivious to the constant stream of strange writing scrolling across the screen. Every photo Liam viewed showed the younger, tanner, blonde Alina. Many were altered versions of images he'd seen before. Instead of being confused, Liam was thrilled. He now looked at a picture of Alina sitting on a windowsill, legs astride a large vase holding blossoming branches, wearing what seemed to be skimpy teenage pajamas. She looked slender but fit. Cute kid, Liam thought. I almost wish she didn't have to grow up. The cryptic writing kept scrolling. Ready for another picture, Liam clicked, and there she was again. Alina, younger as ever, blonde hair tied in twin ponytails, unclothed atop a tower overlooking a lake. I'm printing that one, Liam declared. This would be the image he'd use to create his character on the imaging machine, his TARDIS, as he called it. Then he noticed something odd. This wasn't his usual browser. There were no familiar buttons or menus for saving, printing, or anything else. But Liam wasn't paid a ridiculous salary to get stuck in confusion. When things went wrong, he found solutions. He prided himself on turning near disasters into triumphs by refusing to give up and thinking outside the box. After all, he'd navigated this strange browser for almost an hour, even discovering pictures he never knew existed. He pressed the usual Ctrl and P keys to print the image. A dialog box appeared, filled with unfamiliar writing, the same strange script he'd been seeing all along while viewing Alina's pictures. Must be a Russian site, Liam thought. Funny how even the print box is in Russian. Never seen that before. Confident he understood the printing settings, he hit enter to confirm. The progress bar briefly appeared. Liam assumed the print job was sent. That's when a strange noise came from the TARDIS in the middle of the room. Liam went to check. 2 changes had taken place since he last looked. First, the side screen now displayed the modified image of Alina, the one matching what was on Liam's laptop, but without the background. The image had been continuously updating via the telepathic link between the laptop and the unit. Second, one side of the box was now open, resembling a sentry box or a police telephone box. Actually, it looked a lot like a silver TARDIS. Inside, the ceiling glowed yellow from a large crystal. Another crystal was set into the inside wall. Normally, this other crystal glowed purple once the portal was accessed and remained lit until pressed by an occupant to confirm activation of the MAU, signaling the point of no return, after which it stopped glowing. Now, the crystal was dark. The unit had registered confirmation when Liam pressed enter on his laptop. It only needed a subject. Liam noticed the open side. Cool, he exclaimed. It really is a TARDIS. He peered inside. Of course, Liam didn't truly believe it was a TARDIS. He still thought it was some kind of computer game platform, maybe for arcades, judging by the size. So he wasn't disappointed or surprised when the inside dimensions matched the outside. But the yellow glow intrigued him. Stepping inside, the door closed with a soft shhmp, leaving a blank wall with no trace of a door. Before panic could set in, the yellow light shifted to red. Liam felt frozen, unable to move for a few seconds. Then, as suddenly as it closed, the door reappeared and the light turned back to yellow. Whoa, that was weird, Liam thought, shaking his head. His long hair brushed his shoulders and back. He stepped out, feeling something was off, something wrong had just happened, but he couldn't quite remember what. It bothered him, then he thought he might have figured it out. That's strange. Where did my clothes go? Liam wondered, glancing down at his young, slender body, past his perfectly shaped beak-up chest to his completely hairless female organ. Actually, he was glad his clothes had vanished. They must have been too tight or heavy, he thought vaguely, because now he felt lighter and more comfortable, like a weight had lifted or his head had cleared after waking up too fast. He felt freer and more relaxed than ever before, better than he'd ever felt in his life. He noticed he'd suddenly gotten smaller. Instead of alarm, he felt relief. He vaguely remembered feeling swollen, bloated, and oddly shaped, actually huge, but couldn't quite recall why. Had he been sick recently? The memory was hazy, but he supposed he was back to normal now. It felt good, and he knew he was smiling. Still, he felt a little dizzy. Had he bumped his head inside the silver box? He touched his head with his small, feminine hands but found nothing wrong. Everything seems fine, he concluded. Then he remembered Laura would arrive any minute. He didn't mind being unclothed but figured he'd better get dressed. Liam skipped upstairs to the bedroom. Opening the closet, he surveyed his clothes. Oh dear! Nothing fits right, he sighed. He realized he'd lost weight, everything was too big and somehow felt wrong. Though all his things, he wondered why he'd ever owned some of them. While rummaging through drawers listlessly, he spotted some of Laura's panties left behind from a weekend stay. Well, that's a start, he decided. Laura won't mind. Liam slid the panties up his legs, but they were far too big, slipping off his hips. He searched for a safety pin, then remembered a box downstairs in the kitchen drawer. He left the bedroom and headed down again. Passing through the dining room, he caught sight of himself in the mirror. His face showed puzzlement. Climbing onto a chair for a closer look, he frowned. That's interesting, he muttered. She looks just like me. Oh, how silly, I am her. Liam giggled, shaking his head, feeling a momentary disorientation. Maybe I did bump my head, he speculated. At least I still look good. His eyes landed on his nicely shaped, small, pert chests. He tweaked a pointer, which immediately hardened. He began to massage them. I love my tits, he purred. Ah, this feels so good. A warm moistness began to spread through his female organ. Then Liam noticed a photo on the mantelpiece, him at graduation with a Bachelor of Science from the London School of Economics. He remembered the day clearly, but something felt off. How did I get in without finishing school? A chill ran up his spine. Oh my gosh, he whispered as memories from the past hour flooded back, the laptop, his actions. That thing changed me somehow, I'm sure of it. Now, readers might wonder why Liam seemed so calm about such a radical change. The truth is, the Morphic Adaptation Unit was designed with protocols for acceptance, adjustment, and instinctive functioning to ease any transformation. The more drastic the change, the stronger these protocols. This prevented shock and helped subjects adapt quickly. After all, these devices were meant for recreation. No one would pay good Forthian credits for an experience that left them panicked or acting oddly. For example, someone changing species would instantly communicate with their new kind, sharing their temperament, abilities, and instincts. That said, privately held MAUs were long deemed too dangerous. Across the Forthian Empire, morphic adaptation was now only allowed under supervised conditions in accredited clinics for registered applicants, even for simple makeovers, and sometimes mandated for convicted criminals. Similarly, anyone switching gender, species, or even race would soon adopt appropriate thinking, behavior, skills, attitudes, and knowledge tied to their new form and its culture, unless otherwise instructed. The same applied to altering body shape or genetic modifications. Some amusing personality changes recently occurred when people on Earth used a lost MAU to give themselves superpowers from comic books. But Liam had unknowingly amplified this particular trait significantly. His fantasies, as he drooled over the images on his laptop, were telepathically received as direct instructions by the MAU, guiding the transformation's outcome. Among other things, Liam imagined Alina as a teenage Russian schoolgirl completely at ease with her body, reveling in her femininity with natural grace and a keen awareness of her appeal. He pictured her as girly, flirty, and mostly boy-crazy. Interestingly, Liam was now, quite curiously, and for what it was worth, a rather powerful witch. Not in the supernatural sense, but the MAU, having been given certain parameters, had unlocked some abilities beyond Earth's current understanding. He could now perform many of the MAU's functions, and other advanced Forthian tech, without any device. With all safeguards off, if he ever got hold of a magic wand or spell book, or something he believed was one, he might rival Hermione Granger as the most talented young witch of her age. All these factors, and several others with serious implications for Liam, had been absorbed by the device as instructions shaping his transformation. Ironically, had Liam made these changes directly at the MAU, it would have filtered out casual thoughts from actual commands. But since the link to his laptop used far more primitive tech with limited filtering, no such safeguards operated. As a result, Liam was doing much more than adapting to his new female form. His entire sense of identity and self-image was fundamentally altered. As he would soon discover, Liam had really done a number on himself. Liam stared at her reflection, horror etched on her face. Or rather, she wore a horrified expression, but it wasn't her reflection that disturbed her. In fact, she was quite pleased with it. However, recalling her graduation day triggered other memories. Now, she remembered everything, or at least part of it. Imagining herself as a man was difficult, but the memories were vivid at first. Then they began to fade the harder she tried to hold on to them, becoming blurry and confusing. She wondered if she was going mad, if her mind had conjured these memories to conflict with her fixed sense of self. She hadn't always been a girl. The thought was absurd, yet undeniable, especially considering the mysterious TARDIS that had caused this. If that was true, maybe it could reverse the change. She hurried to the tall metallic device, arms waving. Her image, now a perfect miniature, showed on the screen. She placed her hand on the hand-shaped panel, which shrank to fit her petite hand. She smiled at the sight of herself. "Now change me back," she commanded in a soft, feminine voice. Though her voice sounded confident, inside she felt queasy at the thought. Luckily, nothing changed. Liam recalled how she'd used mental images to alter the screen when activating the unit. She closed her eyes, trying to picture her former self. Nothing came. She tried imagining herself as a man. It had worked before, transforming from man to woman. But now, nothing. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't see herself as a man. She pictured another man instead. Immediately, an image of a handsome teenage boy appeared, fit, with medium-length light brown hair and gray-blue eyes. Cute. Liam thought. He'll do. Just as she prepared to remove her hand, the image snapped back to herself. Panic surged. The instant she entertained becoming that image, a strong feeling of refusal emerged. The idea of transforming into any other form filled her with disgust. Maybe, she thought, if she started with small changes, the image might shift. Then she could attempt bigger ones. Studying the screen, she pondered, what can I change? Bigger chests? She wrinkled her nose. No, they're fine as is. Hair color? No, I like it. Height? I could be taller. No, that'd feel weird, and my clothes wouldn't fit. Her eyes widened. Clothes? I don't have any. Shit, what am I going to do? I need a whole new wardrobe. And she meant it. The image changed again. Still the beautiful blonde Russian teen, but now dressed in very short, slightly frayed faded denim shorts and a cute white shirt with sleeves rolled up beneath a fashionable black velvet waiter's waistcoat. She wore silver jewelry, earrings, a few chains, a charm bracelet, and a diamond-studded watch. On her feet were soft gray suede ankle boots with 3-inch heels, matching a gray leather tote bag slung over her shoulder. Both hands held shopping bags from Topshop, Sass & Bide, FCUK, Harvey Nichols, and others. Though struggling to carry the parcels, her expression was happy. Cool! Liam exclaimed. Now what do I do? The doorbell rang. Shit! Laura! Liam gasped. She froze momentarily. The doorbell rang again. Surprisingly, she didn't feel self-conscious about Laura seeing her like this, only a bit panicked, despite her earlier confidence, about what Laura might think seeing her in some of her own panties, which still wouldn't stay up. No time to waste, she grabbed a pair of Liam's loose gym shorts with an adjustable cord, slipped them on, threw on one of his shirts that nearly reached her knees, and headed for the door. She exclaimed as she opened the door. "Laura, come in." "Who are you?" Laura asked sharply, narrowing her eyes at the girl and stepping inside without waiting for an answer. "And where's Liam?" A puzzled look crossed the girl's face. What had Laura just said? Why was she speaking like that? She muttered under her breath. "What's that?" Laura repeated, enunciating slowly and louder than necessary, adopting a vaguely foreign accent. "Do you speak English?" Of course, Laura was speaking English, but the girl suddenly realized she'd been thinking and speaking Russian all along. Now that she had to use English herself, she struggled to understand it. She cursed herself for not paying more attention in class. English. Duh. "I speak," she said softly in a young, heavily accented feminine voice. "Good. So, who are you?" Laura said, arms on hips, regaining her intimidating stance. "Laura, it's me." "Alina," she answered, gesturing to herself. "You're Alina?" Laura echoed. Alina smiled. "So where's Liam? And what are you doing here?" Laura demanded. No, Alina replied impatiently. "It's me. I am Alina." Laura wanted to see Liam. Alina knew she was Liam. But deep down, she was Alina. Somehow, she couldn't call herself Liam. She hadn't quite worked this out yet. "I live here." "My home," she said. "Then I come from, how to say, the TARDIS," she gestured to the tall silver box. "I go in," she made a motion, "I come out. Clothes, they go PHCT." She mimed a quick motion. "Different, but I'm still the same Alina." Laura shook her head, unable to make sense of the girl's words, except that she insisted her name was Alina and that she expected Laura to believe she'd traveled here in a TARDIS. "How do you know my name?" Laura asked suspiciously. "How?" Alina replied incredulously. "It's me, Alina. Alina Smirnova." "And where's Liam then?" Laura pressed. "I am Alina." Alina shouted, stamping her foot. "Understand? I'm still the same girl. Look, you Russian trollop or whatever you are, I don't have time to listen to your nonsense. I came here to see Liam Reed. He invited me himself. If you don't tell me where he is, I'll search this place until I find him. Got it?" Tears welled in Alina's eyes. "Duh," she whispered. "I got it." Laura felt a pang of guilt for yelling but was provoked. Finding this half-undressed foreign girl in Liam's house had upset her, and her mind raced with unpleasant assumptions. She noticed the girl was very beautiful and very young. Not yet 18, probably still at school. Laura instantly disliked her. Liam better have a damn good explanation when she found him. She waited for Alina to say where Liam was, but Alina had sunk onto the sofa, her face buried in her hands. Laura headed upstairs to look for Liam. "And don't think I won't report you to immigration, darling, once I get my hands on that idiot," she muttered. Laura didn't think Alina heard, but she did. Alina's hearing was now extraordinarily sharp. Panic surged through Alina. Laura was going to send her back to Russia. What about her home? Her job? No, that was the old Alina, or Liam, from university days before she'd been at school in Russia. That didn't make sense. Wait, had she really come from Russia? Of course she spoke Russian. But did she ever actually live there? She wasn't sure. Yet she knew Russia was her home. How could that be? It was all very confusing. As Alina sat, wringing her hands in fear, her eyes landed on the laptop screen still on the coffee table. The picture wasn't the one she'd chosen to print earlier. That one she remembered. No, this was the image that had appeared on the side of the TARDIS, Alina dressed in denim shorts and carrying shopping bags. A spark lit in Alina's mind. Somehow the computer and the TARDIS were linked. The image she created on the TARDIS was now on the laptop, and the picture she'd seen earlier on the laptop must have been sent to the TARDIS. Meanwhile, Laura returned downstairs, having failed to find any sign of Liam. "All right, Alina, or whoever you are, can you tell me," she pointed at herself, "where Liam went?" She gestured vaguely. "Where Liam went?" Alina repeated, a flicker of understanding brightening her eyes. "I understand. Liam, he go in TARDIS. It has a door. He's in there." "He's inside the metal box?" Laura asked, incredulous. "Why didn't you say so?" "Liam," she shouted, approaching the silver MAU. "Are you in there?" No answer. Laura pounded the side with her fist, surprised at its solidity. "It must weigh a ton. Liam? Come out." Alina thought hard. She wasn't stupid. Even as Liam, she hadn't been. Liam had excelled at his job by thinking laterally, sometimes doing the unexpected, like buying a mediocre currency for millions to keep its price artificially high, then selling it fast to buy another currency he'd previously sold heavily to drive its price down. He always seemed to know when to buy and sell. Shit. Laura was about to hand her over to immigration. Alina had no documents or proof of identity. No one would believe she owned the house, the car, or anything else. Did she have family in Russia to care for her? She couldn't remember. But how could she? Without a home, relatives, or friends, she knew she'd soon have to rely on her only assets to survive. Russia was full of ruthless, cruel people. She might end up in adult work or making pornography. The latter didn't bother her much, might even be fun, but there were dangers. If she didn't comply, she could be murdered, her body dumped in the Neva River, with no one to care. Life would be better in England. Fear was creeping in. She hadn't managed to get the machine to change her back. Maybe there was only one chance, which was why it wasn't working now. If that was the case, maybe Laura could do it? "Are you telling the truth?" Laura demanded. "I don't think anyone's in there." "It has a trick," Alina explained. "Like magic, how do you say?" "Magic." She moved toward the tall silver box. "You must put your hand here," she pointed to the hand-shaped panel, "and think of Liam." Laura gave her a doubtful look, examining the screen and panel. "But that's you, not Liam," she said, eyeing the image of Alina carrying shopping bags still displayed. "You try," Alina urged nervously. Laura placed her hand on the panel. It expanded slightly to fit her larger hand, and the panel, screen, and even the box shifted upward to suit her taller height. She felt a slight tingle or shock and quickly pulled away. "But that's a picture of me," she exclaimed. "How did it do that?" "It takes everyone's picture," Alina replied dismissively. "Now put your hand back and think of Liam." "There he is," Laura said excitedly. Alina cried. It seemed to be working. "But the trick's not finished. You must tell the TARDIS Liam knows he is Liam. He likes being Liam. You tell it." Alina realized the machine had altered how she thought of herself. Fixing that was most important. Laura looked skeptical. "All right, Liam," she said to the screen image. "You know you're Liam. You like being Liam." She felt a bit foolish. Strange writing began to scroll across the screen. Alina said, keeping one eye on her laptop screen, which Laura hadn't noticed. Sure enough, the image there was of her before the transformation, a still hard-to-imagine memory of having been male. Changing into this form was horrifying, but desperate times called for desperate measures. "Now you tell it Liam remembers all about Liam. It's important." Say it now. Laura pursed her lips, wondering if Alina was playing her. All right, Liam, you remember, what again? She asked, irritated, turning to Alina. Remember all about Liam. Only remember being Liam. Right. You must remember everything about Liam. Only being Liam. Is that it? Yes, very good. Alina said eagerly. Strange writing scrolled on. This is ridiculous, Laura thought. This girl's wasting my time. What I should tell Liam is to stop being such an arsehole. I wish he wasn't so full of himself. He should think about helping others for once, and be more sensitive to women, especially in bed. And stay fitter. And have better taste. And enjoy shopping more. More strange writing scrolled. Nothing's happening, Laura hissed, impatient. Alina furrowed her brow. How to get the machine to open? She looked at the laptop again. Wait. I'll try something. She leaned over and pressed Ctrl and P on the computer. Just as she was about to press enter, Laura gasped. Good Lord! It opened! But I don't see Liam. Alina saw the machine's invisible door had opened magically, just like before. It's okay. I'll get him, she said, trying to smile. She stepped inside. The yellow crystal in the ceiling glowed brightly. A glowing purple crystal on the inside wall caught her attention, she hadn't noticed it before. Filled with dread, she closed her eyes, gripped the sides, and braced to be transformed back. Nothing happened. She waited. I still don't see Liam, Laura complained from outside. What are you doing in there? Alina realized the machine was broken, or her idea for changing back was wrong. Slowly, she stepped out. So where's Liam, you stupid slag? Laura demanded, losing patience. Alina shook her head, upset enough to make Laura wonder if this was no joke. Let me have a look, Laura said, stepping into the TARDIS. What's this purple thing do? Instantly, the MAU's door vanished as if it had never existed. Laura? Alina gasped as a tall, fit man stepped out from the door, which suddenly reappeared. Is that you? Oh shit. Laura. Thanks for reminding me, the man said. I forgot she was coming over any minute. Liam turned to Alina. Look, could you hide upstairs until she leaves? I hate deceiving her, but she might not understand at first. I'm sponsoring you to go to school here, you know? I promise I'll make it up to you. How about a shopping trip later? You need some sexy new clothes, don't you? Liam winked, suddenly embarrassed. No offense taken, Liam, Alina replied, smiling brightly. If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.